But let's get into our next best of 3. The semifinals, actually. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Babylon, we've got the red Terran player for the Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN, who took down Stats to get here. Stats was looking very strong against Scarlet, but ByuN maybe looking good in this TVP matchup. That could be a tough one for his opponent. In the lower right-hand corner, just took down Dark. Another very strong Zerg getting taken down by a Protoss. See how he fares against the Terran. It's Classic. Yeah, Classic looking sick against Dark. Somebody did mention Dark has been having a tough time against Protoss, and I'd say that's kind of true, but at the same time, so last week, the KSL Finals and the ESL Korea Cup Finals were both Dark versus Hero. And the week before, both the KSL and the ESL Open Cup were Dark versus Hero finals. So 4 finals in a row that I cast were Dark versus Hero. Best of 5s. And Hero, arguably the best Protoss in the world, and probably inarguably the best PvZ in the world. He and Dark went game for game. They actually had the exact same result against each other across all 4 of those finals. So I don't know that I can easily say that Dark's been struggling against Protoss with those results. That being said, Classic getting to 2-0 speaks volumes not only at Dark potentially struggling against Protoss, but against for Classic and how good he's been looking. Let's talk about this game a little bit here, as we've got 2 gateways Corona boosting out Adepts that are going to be heading across the map at ByuN. ByuN does not have a bunker. This is actually going to be super dicey for the Terran. These Adepts are going to come in. Fortunately for ByuN, the CC was built early enough. Oh my god. This even saves the SCV for a hot second there. So the CC is done. And it's turning into an orbital. There's a Hellion out now. Double Marine production. There's 2 more Adepts coming across the map and 2 Stalkers following that up. Classic is just keeping the pressure on. These units are rallied out. So ByuN's going to have to do something. He's going to have to figure out a way to push down here. He wanted to go for a drop across the map, but I feel like he's got to just hold this pressure for us. He's going to get 1 Adept, which is a good start. And the Hellion's actually going to push down a little bit here. Cyclone is on the way, so the Stalkers coming across won't really get too much done. And you know what? ByuN handles this pretty damn well, and I think that Cyclone will stop these Stalkers from getting anything done. ByuN maybe doesn't want to run too far down, but he is going to send the Hellion out and will spot the Stalkers. Oh, I love the hiding of the Marines off to the side. Gets the Adept, and now the Cyclone pops down, and that should be a dead Stalker. Recall, oh my god, gets the Stalker, does a bunch of damage to the other one. Classic suddenly gotta be a little bit worried about the defense, as Marines are coming across with the Medevac and the Cyclone. 2 more Stalkers warp in. The shield battery is on the way. I feel like Classic should be fine, but what a hold from ByuN. Some real heavy pressure out of Classic. Doesn't end up getting too much done at all. Lock on onto one of the Stalkers. Classic just pulls completely back, but the shield battery is going to bite the dust. Cyclone gets very, very low. ByuN's going to pick it up. Drops it off. Oh my god. Gets another Stalker. 2 more Stalkers warp in though, and I feel like this is kind of the end of the pressure. Oh, Jesus, ByuN. What is happening right now? How is he continuing to push this? He's going to lift up and get out of there on a Medevac with 31 hit points. But that was kind of wild. He killed 3 Stalkers. I mean, I guess it was only 2 up here, but he does a bunch of damage to the Stalkers. Decent trade so far for ByuN. He does lose kind of a lot. Losing the Cyclone there is kind of painful. Delays the third base a little bit, though. Classic's going to put that down now at 5 minutes. But there's no third here for ByuN, so I think Classic's still okay with that. And Classic's got the tech now, though. His Robo Bay is done. He's got the first Colossus and Thermal Lance on the way. It's going to be a little bit before ByuN can push. Might be able to do a cheeky drop or something, but certainly no push potential for a while. Not a cheeky drop, but a cheeky auto turret harass. Classic does have some stalkers nearby. Auto turrets don't have nearly as much health as they did before, and the Raven ends up getting 0 kills. You know what? I feel like I kind of like Classic's position here. ByuN's going to go for a push. This is 2 tanks. That medevac, I think, from earlier that got healed up. The Raven doesn't have any energy, though, so this Colossus could be very, very useful, but no blink on the Stalkers either, so as the tanks siege up, I feel like this could be tough for Classic. He's going to target down one of the tanks and then backs up. Oh, that's really, really nice. Nothing to stop this drop in the main, though. Classic's thinking the same thing. ByuN drops in, but a couple of Stalkers have warped in. They do have a shield battery as well. Oh, and at the same time, Classic's going to dive forward on top of the tank that is still here. Should have enough to clean up these Marines as well. Super shield battery holding in the main with the 2 Stalkers. 3 probes go down, but other than that, Classic cleans this up, gets his third base up and running. Still up a few workers, not a ton, but ByuN's third CC is just now started. Ooh, auto turret harass. Could hit the third. It looks like it will. Probe's going to have to get pulled, but ByuN looking for some amount of damage here. Lets the drop get away. Supplies slightly in ByuN's favor. It does look like he has the slightly larger army. Actually pretty substantially larger, now that I look at it. 51 to 28 army supply. Classic starts up an Immortal. Maybe a little bit more, worried about more tanks. For the Marauders? I don't know. Going for the double Immortal production off the back of just 1 Colossus. Thermal Lance is done. Oh no, never mind. I lied to you guys. 2nd Colossus. Okay. 2 Colossi and then into Immortal production. Makes a little bit more sense in my brain. My thinking cabinet. Classic getting into Blink as well. Going to be an important upgrade, but we do see the Ghost Academy going down for ByuN already, so we're going to be able to get those EMPs off. It looks like we've just got a bit of a macro game on our hands. Classic taking the 4th. ByuN's 3rd finally done and finally up and running. Wouldn't be too surprised to see Classic throw down like a 2nd Robo sometime soon. I feel like that would be a nice thing to have. Get out double Disruptor production as the game progresses. Now, ByuN is very good at splitting against Disruptors, but I still feel like they're a crucial part of a Protoss versus Terran army. I do like the Widow Mines around, too. Classic's thinking about attacking down here, perhaps. Trying to rotate around. Is there a storm? There's no storm. I don't know why these High Templar are out. I guess maybe to try to shut down the Raven? I don't think ByuN knows the army is here, but he is just kind of postured around. He's going to find out now. Goes for the stim, but definitely caught ByuN off guard here. Raven gets feedback, but not before it hits the big anti-armor missile. Ghost going to try to run forward and get some EMPs, perhaps. Classic waiting for that anti-armor missile to wear off, and I'm going to go back in with another round of Warpins. Blinks forward to kill the Raven finally. A handful of Vikings here are going to try to put some pepper onto the Colossi, actually going for the Prism, but the Stalkers targeting them down. Oh, ByuN still has a lot of ground army, though. Classic warping in some more Zealots. Still some EMPs available for ByuN as well, and there they go, landing on top of a lot of these units. The Colossus will go down. Both Colossi now dead, and Classic's army not looking so hot. as it's just stalkers. Man, this army of ByuN is so overstimmed and partially damaged from the Colossi. Again, just stimming. That ByuN, he stims, and all the units he selected didn't even stim there. Just some of them. Zealot's going to do a run by on the top side, and there's a bit of a wall here. But the Zealots should still be able to get into some of the SCVs. The Bio comes in to push them away, though. Classic runs home and takes a 5th base, but is down quite a lot of supply, and it's all an army. 50 army supply down from ByuN here. And the medevacs come out and heal up these units. Some more Vikings come out, some more Ghosts come out. I feel like ByuN's going to be feeling good. However, Classic's doing a great job at kind of stalling, keeping ByuN back, and he's trading so many units to do it. As Zealots die over here to the Widow Mines. Zealots die in the main. A couple of them get recalled, but I don't think 2 Zealots is going to make that big of a difference when you're down 50 supply right now. 50 army supplies. Classic's actually up 10 workers. Oh my god, more Widow Mines trying to come up. Classic needs to get out of there. Ooh. Eats some big Widow Mine damage without really getting much to show for it. More Zealots going to go for a run by. Disruptors are out, but again, ByuN usually very, very good at splitting against those. It does become difficult as more of them come out, though, so Classic needs to get to that critical number. Throws out 3 Panic Novas. Oh, that is the worst thing for Classic. There's still 1 or 2 available. One of them connects okay, but the other one gets killed, and that is it for the splash damage of Classic's army. We've got Zealots getting F2'd back home, but the Disruptors are all going down. Despite the fact that ByuN's army is insanely overstimmed, he is going to win this fight, and he's going to win this game. ByuN going to go up 1-0 in this series, it looks like. GG. Can anybody stop ByuN? Is he ByuNstoppable? He might be. He might be. He might just be too strong. All right, so getting some scores here. Doing some admin work right quick. All right. Okay, just fill you in on the rest of the bracket. Gumiho 2-1 Creator, and then Maru 2-0'd Gumiho. So Maru is waiting in the semis for Hero versus Ragnarok. That is the other side of the semifinals. As we hop in to game 2 of our semifinals here, we're on Ancient Cistern, and spawning in the lower left-hand corner, it is the red Terran player for the Shopify Rebellion, ByuN. Looking ByuNstoppable, especially against Protoss. His opponent in the upper right-hand corner gotta pull it back here and get the 2-0 reverse sweep. It is Classic, who, again, still Somehow teamless. I don't get it. But you know, there is a magic to a player without a team, which ByuN would of course know. Having won a GSL without a team. I think he was the first player to win a GSL without a team. In fact, back in those days, not having a team was really, really rare. We had so many like smaller teams. There are still a lot of smaller teams around. I'm sure if Classic messaged a lot of smaller teams and was like, hey, can I just join in with you guys? They'd be down, but Classic probably waiting for something a little bit bigger. He's one of the best players in the world. Well, yeah, ByuN winning a GSL without a team, and then of course winning BlizzCon without a team. World champion. Teamless world champion. Incredible stuff. 2016. What a year. What a year to be alive. And now looking extremely strong. ByuN, one of the players that, I mean, across all of the players who did the military service in Korea and then came back to play the game, ByuN has for sure done the best, right? I don't think there's anybody else who's gotten up to the level ByuN's gotten up to. Right now he's ranked 3 on a Ligilag. He's been very consistently in the top 3 according to that ranking for a long time. He's taken games and maps off of every single player in series and important tournaments. Hasn't quite had that world champion result once again. But that's a tough one to top. Ooh, Classic going for a very quick Twilight Council here. And ByuN's going to put some pressure on, though. Double Reaper, 2 more on the way here from this reactor to barracks. Plus the Hellions from the factory. Can be 2 of them. It's one of those TVT openings that ByuN's going to bust out against the Protoss and try to just do a huge amount of damage to Classic early on. And with this Twilight Council being, I mean, I guess it's not super early. It's just there's no, like, Robo. There's no Stargate. So not a lot of scouting potential here from Classic. And a Depth Shade doesn't even get very far. And I mean, the shield battery can definitely help. ByuN may just run by, though. Go straight into the main base. That could be disastrous for Classic. We'll see. Shield battery definitely going to be a good opening. And yeah, ByuN just going to run by. Ooh, decides not to go for the natural. Dropping the grenades so that the main base, is in some trouble here. Probe's getting targeted down. The Hellions will die, so the lineup of probes not going to be gunned down today. But 3 probes do die. Not maybe as much damage as ByuN was hoping for. As that was for a Reaper and 2 Hellions. So definitely much better trades here for Classic. I think ByuN was hoping for a little bit more. You know what? I got to say, great target fire from Classic to take down those Hellions. It's so easy to just let your Stalkers shoot whatever and end up doing like a bunch of damage to each unit, but they all live long enough to get those last couple of shots. But targeting down the Hellions, even having the Stalker that popped out finish off that first one before he could get a shot off, really, really helping out Classic there. Keep the damage to a minimum. Reapers, they kill probes pretty decently, but it's not quite like Hellions with the splash damage. And even another Reaper going down. But ByuN's not done with this yet. Going to go for the Widowmine drop. Holds off until he can get 2. Ooh, Reapers dive back in to target down a couple of probes here. Widowmine gets dropped and then picked back up. 4 more probes going down for those last couple of Reapers and a Widowmine. Still better trades for Classic. But losing probes is never a good thing, and as we see, the worker count has gone into ByuN's favor at this point. Blink is done, however, as are 4 gateways and a Robo. Classic is going to put some pressure on, and I mean, ByuN knows it. He knows it. He's got a bunker out front. He's got 2 siege tanks in the main with a bunch of Marines here. Stalkers are about to blink up. They're going to get hit by 2 siege tanks, though. One of them gets gunned down. Classic picks some units up in the prism just to help them mitigate the damage. Third siege tank on the way, but this one just trying to hold down the fort right now. Classic doing as much damage as he can here. Blinking over into the corner. Needs to be a little bit careful, though. The Marines push forward, grab a stalker. The medevac is here as well, going to help these Marines stay alive. Another tank siege is up, and Classic is just blinking backwards. He's got to get out of there. Oh, but now he's got some stalkers at the front. There's a bunker here, but he can just blink by the bunker, forcing these SCVs all to pull away. SCV's going to go for the attack. I think one stalker could die here, and the other 4 could get picked up. Or Classic could just go ahead and warp in some zealots, causing some friendly fire from the siege tank that's on the low ground. High ground, stalkers decide to push back in. Got to be careful of the siege tank. Don't want to overcommit. 9 SCVs going down. Classic is very committed with this. Oh man, he's going to blink down. But ByuN getting a lot of damage on these stalkers. So many going down. The bunker dies. But Classic loses just about everything. He's down to 12 army supply. He's going to warp in another round of 4 stalkers. But ByuN's got this low ground siege tank. He knows where the stalkers are now. You're going to have to blink back up into the main. There's still a tank up here, though. I feel like ByuN's kind of held. Classic's going to drop a 3rd, so he seems to be thinking the same thing. Realizing he's not going to be able to kill ByuN here. Just trying to pick off some damage as much as possible. Stim feels pretty safe with the siege tank here. ByuN drops the 3rd CC. I feel like if Classic realizes that, he would try to kill it right now, but he doesn't just yet. Zealot's going to drop on top of this siege tank. Oh, but the prism needs to be a little bit careful. The tank goes down, but Stim finishes up, and these stalkers need to blink out of there. All of the zealots will go down, and ByuN holds very strongly. Yeah, taking much better trades. And remember, all this for Classic was off of 2-base mining. Now he's going to drop some auto turrets for the harass, targeting down the probes. Gets just a couple, but forcing warpins back and home, so ByuN knows Classic doesn't really have much out on the map right now. Wow. The hot pickup on that Zealot was so sick. I love when the animation for whatever just got shot, as it goes into the prism, like the animation stays on the prism for a second. It's like it sticks to the unit as it goes in there. It's good stuff. Storm and charge on the way for Classic. He's got to get those out. That is kind of the obvious follow-up here. He needs to get into some sort of splash damage. And of course, charge can be very, very strong. ByuN, I feel like, could go for a push, though. He is up 20 army supply right now. He's got medevacs out to heal up these units from those earlier stims. Keep them healed up in any future stims. But he's not going to hit before Storm. That is done. There are High Templar here that will have Storm very shortly. Storm can be pretty good against a big group of Marines here, like ByuN has. This is still a dicey situation for Classic, though. Even worker count, even base count. The mining has been slightly ByuN favored for the last few minutes, as has the resources lost, which is why we see such a big supply gap here between the two. Classic's going to push out. I mean, he does have charge lots. He's got blink stalkers. He's got Storm. He's got Storm in this prism, it looks like. So he's going to try to drop on top of this, but he's got to make sure the zealots are drawing the tank fire first before he goes for the High Templar drop. You don't want to drop those too early. They'll just get blasted by the siege tanks. Classic decides to back up. He's going to go for a Storm drop, but ByuN somehow spotted this, and the prism goes down with 2 High Templar in it. How did he see that? What happened? Oh my god. ByuN does eat a big Storm in the middle of the map, but he's going to chase this anyways because there's no more Storms left. Oh, there was a ghost. Got the EMP. Classic backs up, but he is still way down in army supply. He's going to try to take this fight on the ramp. But this feels like such a good fight for ByuN, as those zealots were all choked up on that ramp against the Marines and Marauders. So more storms show up. ByuN a little bit late to respond, and man, those storms do a beautiful job. The Widow Mines get taken down before they can even burrow. ByuN will have to back up here. But every time he comes out of that engagement, he is further ahead. Now up 37 supply. He's got a 4th CC about halfway done. Yeah, Classic's got a 4th on the way as well, but this is just feeling like ByuN's game. He's also got 1-1. There is +1 attack being chrono boosted out for Classic right now. But by the time that finishes up, we should have a 2-2 starting up for ByuN. And that's just going to put him insanely far ahead in upgrades in the next couple of minutes. He's already going to be ahead in upgrades. He has been and he will continue to be. Widow Mine drop does get spotted a little bit. Classic sending some stalkers over there. But there is a push over on the left as well, so Classic smartly splitting some units off each direction. Oh, High Templar in the Prism. Not going to get the storms off. Widow Mine drops go down. 8 probes dying already. It's going to be a couple more. 11 probes going down. The armory is done. Classic needs to get some detection up to kill these. He's building a cannon that should finish these bad boys off. Kills the observer, and Classic now doesn't have any vision on the other side of the map. Doesn't know where ByuN's army is, and this is such a scary little position to be in. Meanwhile, ByuN has map control. He's got map vision around. He knows where Classic isn't. His 4th base is up and running. I think ByuN's just in a fantastic position this game. Classic has pulled the supply back by quite a bit, though. He was down like 40 supply earlier, and now it's just 20. And as the army supplies get bigger, those little gaps aren't quite as meaningful either. A little surprised to see Classic going so heavy on the Colossi, but ByuN is respecting it with 4 Vikings at a time being pumped out here. Going to get up to a healthy 10 Vikings momentarily. They have +1 on the way as well. That's going to really help against the +0 armor and +0 shields of these Colossi. Armor just now started up for Classic. 2-2 is nearly done for ByuN. This fight might happen before any further upgrades, though, as these armies are posturing around each other. That looks like a dead Prism. The Stalkers blink forward to maybe save it. Storms do go down. Some really juicy storms. The Vikings eating a lot of damage. The Bio did eat some storms as well, though. The Vikings going to take down the Colossi for sure. Most of the Vikings will die with that. But now the Marauders will be able to push in so much more easily. Oh, EMPs on top of those Archons. They die instantly. The Stalkers blink back and get recalled, but 1 or 2 will go down before that recall finishes up anyways. And ByuN is now up 50 supply over Classic. Classic lost all of his High Templar. He lost all of his Colossi. His splash damage is gone. It's just this paltry little gateway force right now. Meanwhile, ByuN is continuing to pump out Marines, Marauders, Liberators, Ghosts. His 2-2 is done. He's now up to upgrades. Those Vikings even have +1. The Liberators will gain that +1 as well. And ByuN is looking poised to take this one. That being said, he's got to be a little bit careful. There's still Colossi here. Feedback goes down on some sort of Ghost, but there are some snipes. Classic forced to use an overcharge just to try to hold on. Classic wants to take a base, but this Widow Mine says no. Denying that base from Classic, while ByuN has his 5th base seeded, turn it into a planetary shortly, sending some SCVs to it. This feels like ByuN's game to lose at this point, and it doesn't feel like he's gonna lose it. Let's see if Classic can take one of the greatest engagements in the world, because I think that's what he's gonna need at this point. Liberators siege up on the ramp. They will punish Classic if he tries to push up here. And that means this base is dead. Some of the probes at the base even died. ByuN not taking much damage from that storm. Liberators continuing to push forward. EMPs knocking the shields off of all of these units. And Classic is on the ropes. He's against the back wall. He's going to go in one more time. Blinks forward on top of the Liberators, targets them down, trying to push the Bio back with the Zealots and the Archons. The Colossi doing a decent job here, staying by the Super Shield Battery, staying alive. One of the Colossi will go down. The Gateway units all go down. But Classic stays alive for now. He's got this base on the way, which I think ByuN must know about since he spotted the cannon going down. Clear out the Widow Mine that was blocking that base. Classic's going to go for a counter-offensive, but I feel like ByuN's going to just have too many units out. He is still up 40 supply right now. He's got a 5th base done and running. He's got a 6th base on the way. Even if Classic comes in and gets some damage done, I feel like there's just going to be too much ByuN here. Prism wants to drop these High Templar off somewhere good. But one gets targeted down. The other one lands one little storm. There's no shield battery this time for the Colossi to stand near, and they will all go down, and Classic will be forced to tap out as ByuN takes the 2-0 victory.